Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and I'm your guide for everything Chinese medicine, and I set it all up so us Westerners can figure it out. Now, let's keep going on with this whole emotions thing, shall we? So, despite how perky I am right now, I am going to tell you a little bit of a story, and trust me, it means something later. Okay? So, once upon a time, I was a little bird, and he was fluttering around and singing in the forest and out into the meadow where he got his seeds and all this, and it started to rain. Well, it was pretty cold. It wasn't a big deal. He's used to rain. He lives outside after all, so he's doing his thing, and all of a sudden the rain turns to snow. A lot of snow. And he starts to get cold. Well, he's having a hard time flying because his wings are getting numb. So he lands, and the snow just keeps piling up, and he can't move. Soon he gets buried. Okay? So what happens? Snow just keeps covering on top of him, and top of him, and top of him. He's getting colder, colder, and colder. Then, just when he thinks he's going to die and take his very last breath, a cow walks over, drops a big old little cow pie on him. And the heat from the poop warms up the little bird. Feeling comes back, he starts breathing again, and climbs his way out, and he's covered in filth, but he's alive. And he's happy. He's so happy that he starts singing. Well, the cat hears this song, and the cat comes over and eats the bird. So, this is a very old story. I heard this, I must have been in high school, a long time ago. Not as long as you think, okay? Moral is, just because somebody dumps on you does not make them your enemy. And just because somebody digs you out of something does not make them your friend, okay? So, let's move on to the actual topic of today. All right? Sadness. Well, sadness is an emotion of loss. Think about it. When are you sad? When you lose something. Okay? And you can't find it. It's really, really hard to find, or it's gone forever. Okay? Think like when an animal friend of yours died, say your dog, your cat, when your grandparents died, okay? You were sad, you cried, okay? Something happened and what you thought you had was gone, or what you did have was now gone, and you weren't going to get it back, or you weren't going to get it in the way that you wanted it, okay? You were sad. Now, in Chinese medicine, sadness is the emotion of the lung. That's these two little sacs right here. Okay? A little bit more than that, but watch my video on the lung. Okay? So it has to do with breathing. That's why you breathe really heavy and water pours out of your eyes. Okay? That's also the anger component of it. Because remember, all emotions, left alone long enough, will turn to anger. Sadness does have a slight anger component to it because you wanted it that way. It's not fair. That's the anger. Okay? So, when you don't have what you wanted, or you don't get what you wanted, or something that you liked or loved is taken or is lost, you feel sadness. So let's take this a little bit further, shall we? So, let's say that you do something to someone. Now, you didn't hurt them, it just wasn't nice, okay? Let's say that you forgot to buy your best friend a birthday present on a significant year, okay? It's not that you couldn't or didn't want to, you just plain out forgot. So you feel bad, okay? You know, when you walk over to him and say, hey, I'm sorry. I just forgot, okay? Can I make this up to you? The emotion you're feeling is called guilt, okay? Guilt is also what you feel when you take something, purposely or accidentally, and it's not yours. That's called stealing, okay? Not borrowing. Borrowing implies you asked someone. When you steal something and you feel bad about it, that's guilt, okay? Guilt comes up when you do something that you're not supposed to do that has an effect on someone else, but you can fix it. You can do something about it to make things right again, okay? You're not doing it to get back into their graces necessarily. What you're doing is you're trying to set at least a modicum of what was taken, what was damaged, back to the way it was. Granted, you can't unring a bell, but you can maybe help, okay? Person accepts it, cool. Not, well, you tried, okay? Remember, you are in control of your own feelings. You're not in control of them, okay? Now, let's move on to something else, something a little bit darker, all right? Let's say you do something that hurts somebody else and you can't take it back. You can't fix it. There's nothing that you can do. What you have done is permanent. There's only a few things where that is. That is end of life, or, I don't know, you destroy civilization to the point where we're now living in the Thunderdome. Up to you, okay? And you feel bad about doing that. That's called remorse, okay? Now, so far, all three of these emotions, you will probably cry. You will probably feel very, very bad. Because all of them are an aspect of sadness, okay? No, sadness is an aspect of sadness, yeah, because, well, 1 times 1 is still 1, okay? So, that's how those ones work. Now, let's move on to something a little bit more important. And this is going to start to tie back into the little bird story that I just told you, okay? Next one involves you. Now, let's say you decide one day, I'm going to walk outside in the most outlandish outfit I can think of. Nobody has ever seen it before. You walk out there and say, hello world, I am ready! And people point and laugh at you. Ha ha, moron! All that. Okay? What you feel is 2 things. First of all, there's a thing called the initial embarrassment. Okay? That is, your cheeks flush, you realized you'd done something stupid, you're like, what did I get into? And now this is where you can change. Okay? And if you do it the wrong way, you'll feel the next version. Okay? Now, if you just laugh it off and say, yep, I did something stupid. Oops, back in 5 minutes. Okay, you run back in, you fix your screw up, you come back out and say, hi, oopsie. Okay? That's just embarrassment, it's fleeting, you'll be fine. But if you let it in, if you let it sink into you, it becomes another version of sadness. That's called shame. Okay? Shame is what you feel when you let down the preconceptions of the group, or you let down the preconceptions of yourself within the group. Okay? Now here's something really, really interesting about shame. The only way shame can affect you is if you intrinsically understand that what you did, the behavior, the belief, the action, the whatever, even though it didn't hurt anybody, and the only thing it really did was lower your effective value in society, okay, the only way that can hurt you is if you actually believe it, okay? If you don't, well, then you can't feel shame. and you can't possibly get upset. Okay? Now, the feeling of shame is a sadness, a depression. It's a I am not good enough feeling. Okay? And you might be right. Okay? But let's continue, shall we? Now, humans are tribal creatures, okay? We're very, very social. We learned many thousands of years ago that if you are alone, you're dead. You just haven't realized it yet, okay? That's why we have things like families. That's why we have things like tribes. That's why we have things like countries and cultures and languages so that we can interact. If that wasn't useful for us, I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't be wearing these clothes. There would be pictures behind me. I wouldn't be in a building, etc. Okay? Because it never would have happened, right? So we also learned a long time ago that we kind of have to pay attention to what the hairless apes out there are doing and whether or not they like what we're doing. Because if they don't like what we're doing, well, they're not going to help us get food. They're not going to protect us from the very large predators over there in the tall grass. They're not going to let us stay in their shelter thingy when the cold water's falling out of the sky. Okay? So it's important that people like you. Okay? If you are doing things that they don't like, you don't get things. Okay? So, let's bring this up into the modern day. When it comes to actions of shaming an individual, my recommendation is maybe you need to poke your head up. Okay? Maybe you need to say, these people are saying I'm doing something dumb. And that the ideas that I have are ineffective. They might be being mean. And yeah, they probably are. But you know what? They might also be correct. Okay? See, like in the story, okay? Big cow walked over and crapped on a little bird. Okay? It's what we say when somebody says something mean to you. Okay? He crapped on me. He dumped on me. He was mean. Okay? Maybe he's actually trying to help you. Okay? And this ties into something else. Okay? It's a virtue that I'll get into later, which is called humility. Okay? Maybe when that person says something to you, they're actually trying to help you out in their own, however twisted way it may be. Okay? So if somebody says something to you that you take as being very mean, very cruel, and how dare they say that, maybe they're actually being your friend. Okay? Now, cat that digs the little bird out of the poop, well, that is somebody coming over and, hey, it's okay, come on, man, let me help you out here. Just because somebody says something nice to you does not make them your friend. Okay? What makes somebody your friend is whether or not they help you get better at your life. Okay? And the way you kind of know is how much better off are you? Okay? Are you better at surviving? Do you have better things? When something bad happens, is the person that pulled you out of that crap there? Or are they just opportunistically helping you? Okay? Always, always, always very difficult questions to ask, and I cannot answer that for you. You have to answer it yourself. Okay? So, when it comes to shame, if you feel that for whatever reason somebody says something to you, maybe you ought to listen. I get reviews all the time. Okay? Some people say mean things to me. And unless it's like obviously false for, whatever it is that they're saying. Like, I know for a fact that's wrong. They're just shooting their mouth off, and I don't let it bother me, okay? Because I know it's wrong. They can't hurt me, okay? But if I find myself getting upset, then I say, okay, what am I upset about? Am I upset about the audacity of the person? Am I upset about their insolence? Am I upset about them being right? And then breaking the delusion that I have about whatever it is that they're talking about. Okay? Now, if it's the first one, the person's just being audacious and purposely trying to make me angry, well, they have no control over my emotions, and they don't have to affect me. Okay? If it's the second one, their insolence, well, I'm not a king. So, that's me being a jerk if I'm upset about their insolence. Okay? If it's the third one, well, maybe they're actually helping me out. Okay? I hopefully have enough humility at that moment to realize that. Okay? So, when it comes up, you got to be smart. Okay? Don't just fire off and back at them. Say, all right, maybe I'm being stupid. Okay? Maybe they're actually trying to help me. And the shame that I feel is myself understanding that what this person is saying is me being stupid. Then if I say, you know what, they're right. I screwed up. I usually thank them. Thank you for helping me. Guess what? The shame evaporates, okay? Because I'm now doing something about it, okay? I'm not dressed in that audacious outfit anymore. I'm actually dressing appropriately for the culture in which I am, okay? Which is obviously metaphorical, okay? So, when it comes to all of that, maybe allow people to help you, even if they are trying to hurt you, okay? You might get on better. All right, so that's about all I've got for you today. If you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, maybe share this with someone who needs it. God knows I can think of a couple, okay? So, if you want to get in touch with me directly, feel free to visit my website at vigintmed.com. That stands for Vigorelli, integratedmedicine.com. You can reach me direct, okay? I'll be back later with something else, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.